Hey, Style DNA is your personal blueprint for making wardrobe decisions that always feel right. It includes your body's design, your lifestyle needs, and your essential aesthetic. All are filtered through your unique personality. In today's episode, we're looking at fall 2025 trends through this lens. I'll share the deeper philosophical shifts happening in fashion right now. Which trending colors and textures work for different personality energies, and the body considerations that determine whether specific trends belong in your closet. So, first, the philosophical things that are lurking behind the scenes in fall 2025 trends. This season represents some significant shifts, or I mean, these shifts have been coming for a long time. Um, Shifts in how we think about dressing, and understanding these themes will help you make smarter decisions about which of these trends you want to embrace. Um, so some have suggested that we are in a period of shifting from dressing to be attractive to dressing for yourself. And in my philosophy, I don't think this should be a dichotomy because dressing like yourself is what makes you magnetic. It's what makes you charismatic. People, when I hear people talk about someone whose style they really admire, it's not so much about that somebody is perfectly embracing all of the trends or anything like that. It's more about how authentic this person is being to their true self. And that is what is attractive, which is also why sometimes you can look at somebody else and really admire their style and you can't wear it yourself because it's actually theirs. You need to find your own. And then some people are applying this idea to the role of femininity in dressing. And I just think this is really highly individual. Um, like wearing ruffles and pink or not doesn't make you or anyone else more or less of a female. And so yeah, I just think all of that stuff. I'm happy to see that it's becoming less strictly dictatorial by the, I don't know, fashion police or the zeitgeist or whatever. Okay, so self-knowledge as the foundation for sustainability is where this gets really practical. Sustainability is a big deal. I mean, our caring for our environment and the planet, it's keeping some people up at night. And so self-knowledge is the cornerstone principle in dressing that has to do with sustainability. Because when you understand your style DNA, you just stop buying things that don't work. And when you don't buy those things that don't work, eventually the manufacturers have to catch up with that and stop making as much stuff that just doesn't work. So you stop the cycle of purchasing, regretting, then donating. And I've talked before about the percentage of the stuff that gets donated that actually ends up getting sold. It's pretty low. So this kind of strategic approach, understanding what really works for you, that saves money, time, and mental energy, which we all need more of all of those, don't we? So getting clear on your energy, your personality, and how it aligns with your style is exactly what the congruence code helps you discover. And you can learn more about that on my website, signaturestylesystems.com. Okay, so another high level kind of principle here is that fashion cycles are predictable. There's basically nothing new under the sun in fashion, so there's always an element of nostalgia, and it just depends on what era we're nostalgic for. Here's the interesting part. Silhouettes go in predictable cycles, so it's likely that certain eras fit your body type better than others. Like the styles from, yeah, the 60s maybe fit your body type perfectly. And so every time that era, we get nostalgic for that and it comes back, you should go shopping. So years ago, a reader named Sarah left a comment on my blog, and I was thinking about this again recently. So she was puzzled about something that happens to all of us. Like she had skirts hanging in her closet that looked amazing when she bought them. And now they weren't looking so good on her. But then so like she's the same weight, same body type, but the same skirts aren't looking good. So she thought about it and had a kind of a light bulb moment that our taste, our what looks normal to us is shaped by what we become accustomed to seeing. So like in the 80s, we had shoulder padded jackets and mid-calf straight skirts, and it was a real T shape, kind of an inverted triangle, which is a good look. I mean, it is a legitimate silhouette. Um, but then everybody looked like that. And so, you know, they, those mid-calf skirts were flattering on her within that context. But then, 20 years later, you have to really work hard or have just the perfect body type that fits that style to have it still look right. A straight skirt doesn't work super well on an hourglass or a an inverted or not an inverted triangle, a regular way triangle, or an inverted triangle with a hip shape that is like an hourglass. It's not going to be amazing. And then she told me a story about her mom. Her mom was still wearing her 1960s mini dresses years later, and maybe they still looked good on her, but she didn't realize the context had changed. So she was sending kind of the wrong message with those dresses. Or, yeah. So anyway, the whole point being is if whatever era is you know, we're nostalgic for right now. I think they're talking about like maybe the 2000s or the 90s or something. If those styles work best for you, for your body, and you're excited about them, go shopping. Okay, and then the final big picture thing is that we've had a few years of quiet luxury, neutral palettes, that type of thing, and we're seeing a shift toward bold, saturated colors. And this affects your shopping strategy. If you're someone whose style DNA includes vibrant colors, then you just want to go shopping, maybe put a little bit extra energy into that this season. But if you prefer neutrals and more muted palettes, I'm sure there'll still be stores that have those things, but it's just something to have your eye on. There have been plenty of seasons when I have walked into Target and everything is muted, and I just figure, well, it's not my year for shopping at Target. Okay, so personality considerations for fall 2025 trends. Um, Color resonances that match your energy. So burgundy and wine are big and have been coming on strong for the last few years, but they're fairly serious colors. So there's a version of all of those, or of burgundy and wine for everybody except maybe the most playful personalities. If you gravitate towards grounded, sophisticated energy, those deeper reds are can work beautifully in your wardrobe, and they are a green light to buy. Then the other color that I wanted to mention is yellow. And yellow's showing up everywhere, but this is another one where there's different resonances that relate to different personality energies. So there's really grounded yellows like mustard, very soft and delicate yellows like butter, and then vibrant, sunshiny yellows. And a lot of people, especially, I don't know, here I live in the Pacific Northwest, and a lot of people don't think that they look good in yellow. But then they notice it pop up in preferences in other areas of their life, like maybe they love sunflowers or they like yellow kitchen accessories. So if that's you, consider a pop of yellow as an accent, like in a bag. Uh, those are really great colors for something like that, or use it in a print with other colors that you feel comfortable with. Yeah, so that's what I have to say about colors, what I'm thinking about colors right now. Texture preferences and and personality. So soft textures like shearling and suede are approachable and they might tend towards feeling preferences in your personality, like if your Myers-Briggs has an F in it. And then harder textures like smooth leather are more aligned usually with thinking preferences. That would be having a T in your Myers-Briggs type. In addition to appealing to those with more sensing preferences, like if somebody is, really into sensory and softness, either because sensing is high in their stack or sometimes even because it's really low in their stack, and they don't like the distraction of whatever the sensing, if it's maybe not as soft or whatever. But softer textures can create an approachable energy that some personalities just naturally gravitate towards. Okay, so vintage brooches is another topic. They're making a major comeback this season. This is something that and I don't care if it's vintage or not. For me, I like to put a brooch on a wool coat in the winter, and I think that can work for anyone. But vintage brooches work especially well for people who have introverted sensing in their cognitive stack. This would be anyone whose personality type has an S and a J in it, or if you have an N and a P. These people often like pieces with history and stories. They like history and stories. And so anyway, now is a good time to yeah, hop on that trend. Okay, and then peplums are another item, and they're showing up in high-end designer collections right now. They're really great for people who have defined waist silhouettes. And also, if you have introverted intuition anywhere in your stack, that would be if your type has an N and a J in it, or if your type has an S and a P in it. It's just good to be aware of this trend because you can start looking for these pieces in stores and thrift shops, knowing that they'll start showing up in stores. But it's those types with introverted intuition are forward thinking often. And so it can be good to just be aware of something that's coming up. A friend of mine found a peplum t-shirt at a thrift store the other day. Um, and so, and I don't think I had even said this to her. So good job. Okay, so body design considerations. If you understand your body design, that's going to really help you know when, like, which trends to jump on and which ones you should just bypass altogether. So we're seeing plaid and those. the other types of designs that sort of line up, you know, on a grid in that way. And the principle with that is about feature alignment. So if your features in your face generally line up horizontally, like maybe you have straight, like a straight mouth or uh, a straight hairline, but especially if the corners of your eyes line up horizontally, then you're going to do well with these grid patterns or plaid. If your eyes tend to angle up or down at the outer corners, then you could look for something more exotic than plaid. The other way you can harmonize plaid with that is to put it on the diagonal. There's a lot of slouchy styles this year, and that is a form of drape. It harmonizes with people who have softer body types. So a more taut or linear structural kind of body type is going to need more structure in their fabric. So there's more structure in their clothing choices. But yeah, so there's trending slouchy boots, soft shearling pieces, and relaxed fits. And those are all fantastic for people who have softer body types. Then the last thing in this section that I wanted to mention is the complexity principle and just thinking about how that applies to like leopard print. So if you have like curly hair or freckles or some other element of complexity about your natural appearance, then leopard is in perfect natural harmony with that. Just you can wear it freely. But if you have a more simple inherent design to your body, you can still use the leopard look, but try it with accessories or wearing it away from the face. So a leopard skirt. I know someone I love has recently sent me a picture of a leopard skirt and with a black top near your face, that's perfect if you have less complexity to your look. So yeah, so understanding which trends work with your natural body design, it's part of developing your style foundation. The Body Design Basics Guide that I have available for free. You can find the link down below in the show description or at my website, signaturestylesystems.com. It covers the principles of waist shape, hip shape, and length proportions. So you can help, or it will help you to make these decisions more confidently. So the key to working with trends strategically is filtering them through your style DNA. Your body design tells you about proportion and silhouette. Your lifestyle needs determine practicality and maintenance. And then your essential aesthetic guides color, texture choices, just the whole like kind of vibe of what you're going to do. And then your personality influences what feels authentic to you. Jumping on trends that align with your style DNA and bypassing the rest is the most effective way to always look current while staying true to yourself. Here's something simple you can do this week to integrate these principles into your wardrobe. Pick one fall 2025 trend that caught your attention and evaluate it through all three lenses of your style DNA. Ask yourself, does this work with my body design? Does it fit my lifestyle needs? And does it align with what I love visually or my essential aesthetic? And then if it passes all the tests, you should definitely try it out. Thanks for being here for the Signature Style Systems podcast. Have fun being you, and I will meet you back here again real soon.